Hello, I'm Mev Hoberg, a member of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose candidates and works to provide information about the candidates and the issues before the voters. We are interviewing the North Kitsap School District School Board Director candidates that will appear on your November ballot, which you should receive in the mail around mid-October. We are asking them 5 questions. The candidates will have 90 seconds to answer each question. Let's get to know Debra Strawhun. Debra, you have 90 seconds to introduce yourself and tell us why you chose to run for the office of School Board Director in District 1.
Hi, I'm Debra Strawhun. I'm a candidate, like she said, for the North Kitsap School District Board of Directors. My husband, Bill Reedy, and I raised 3 boys that went through North Kitsap schools. Now they're grown-up people, grown-up men with families and jobs of their own. And the North Kitsap School District did a nice job educating our children. I would like to give back to the community that has meant so much to our family. I've been a career educator. I started in the 1980s, early 80s, working in public schools. I have lots of experience and knowledge about how schools are run, lots of years in public schools. And I like to use that knowledge. I'm retired now, I contract my time part-time back to the Bremerton School District. But I'd like to use that knowledge to give back to this community that gave so much to us and has meant so much to us. I understand how schools are run, and every school has its strengths and its weaknesses, and I believe I can help North Kitsap School District be even better than it is now.
Okay, thank you, Debra. Now for our first question. The role of a public school district board of directors is to govern by setting policies and making decisions that shape the education of students. What are some of the key responsibilities of a school director that support successful governance of a public school system?
Well, I can think of 5 important roles that are important to kids, families, and the community. The first one being a liaison with the school district. So to be the voice of the public, voice of the voters to the school district is a very important role. The second one is the role of hiring and evaluating the superintendent. That's been a problem in this school district. And the school board is the only body that can evaluate a superintendent. Number 3 is setting policies and guidelines for curriculum and operations. That affects the educational experience for all kids. Number 4, oversight and approval of the budget. The school board has a fiduciary responsibility in terms of budget, and we need to make sure that the money is being spent well and in the way that the public appreciates. And number 5 is futuring and strategic planning. How can we set ourselves up for the future and be proactive instead of reactive to problems as they occur?
Okay, thank you. On to question 2. A district's annual budget shows the board's commitment toward fulfilling the goals of the instructional program and providing for the efficient and effective operation of the district. Regarding the district's budget process, what strategies do you suggest to address any deficits faced in the future, especially related to declines in student enrollment or loss of federal funding?
Well, the first part of budgeting process is gathering information. The district already hires a group that provides demographics or how many kids are going to be showing up. State, federal, levy, and bond dollars are a known entity. And any information about upcoming legislation that affects budgets is known or can be found also. So budget deficits should never be a surprise. With unexpected loss of state and federal funds like could be happening now, we would hope that the district could dip into their reserve for a year so that there could be a plan created to match, to realign the spending with the reduced funds. That requires looking at the budget areas, including staffing, facilities, and any particular needs, special needs that come up, and align them to the strategic plan. We want to resist closing schools or depleting funds or disproportionately impacting any particular program.
Okay, thank you. On to question 3. The National Education Association has stated its support for school libraries, and in recent years, many books have become controversial. How do school boards navigate the concerns of parents, teachers, librarians, and students regarding sensitive content?
Banning books is a form of censorship. Students need access to a diverse choice of books and the freedom to read them. Parents need to protect their child from violent and sexualized materials. That's understandable. Many of the challenge books help kids to understand the world around them and have a glimpse into lives that they don't have access to. That helps develop empathy and social emotional development. Most parents, 93%, believe their child is safe using the school library. 80% believe that librarians choose the books appropriate to the student's age. Educators are responsible for the education of all children. Books is a vital part of that. Parents have the right to decide what materials their child is exposed to, but they do not have the right to restrict what is available for others.
Okay, thank you. On to question 4. Local levy and bond funding are indispensable for North Kitsap School District and other districts across the state. Levies provide critical resources for day-to-day operations and enrich the educational experience, while bonds are crucial for building and maintaining school facilities. If elected to the board of directors, how would you engage with community members, provide transparent information regarding these initiatives, and foster trust that is essential to the successful outcome of a levy and/or bond election?
Well, trust is absolutely needed, and communication is an essential part of trust. Voters need to trust that the district is using their money to the education to provide the children with a good education. And they need to know that they're using the money wisely. They also need to know that they are being spoken to honestly and without hidden agenda. Just like in the campaign, I will host and participate in community meetings that are open to the public, like forums, small group meetings, special interest group meetings. And I'll listen to constituents' concerns with an open mind and consider multiple perspectives. Before drafting a proposal for a levy or a much pricier bond, I will communicate clearly, frequently, and transparently, and work in a collaborative, transparent manner to ensure that all perspectives are heard. Voters need to trust me as part of the school board to be their voice to the school district.
Thank you. Our final question: what strategies would you employ to foster a positive and inclusive school climate where diversity is celebrated and all students feel safe and respected?
Every student needs to feel included. That in itself offers a positive atmosphere. I can think of 4 ways that schools can foster inclusion. The first being a diversity in curriculum and teaching methods. For example, in addition to using books and lectures, teachers can use music, art, movement, hands-on activities, and digital resources. And the curriculum should represent a variety of cultures and accommodate a whole lot of a variety of learning styles and learning needs. Universal Design for Learning, UDL, can be used to build that diversity in curriculum and teaching methods. 2, schools have to partner with families so that the whole family is part of the student's education. 3, designing activities that involve play and social emotional development is important. And lastly, provide a social emotional curriculum that encourages respectful, responsible, and resilient behavior. Create schoolwide expectations for positive behavior, that if a student is being bullied, for example, they know what to do.
All right, thank you. Thank you to Debra Strawhun for running for office and for sharing your views. I'm Mev Hoberg on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. Thanks for watching, and please share this video. If you want to help the League do this work, consider joining us at lwv.org. And don't forget to return your ballot by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 4th. Hello, I'm Mev Hoberg, a member of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose candidates and works to provide information about the candidates and issues before the voters. We're interviewing the North Kitsap School District School Board Director candidates that will appear on your November ballot, which you should receive in the mail around mid-October. We're asking them 5 questions. The candidates will have 90 seconds to answer each question. Let's get to know Leighton Thomas. Leighton, you have 90 seconds to introduce yourself and tell us why you chose to run for the office of School Board Director for District 1.
Great. Thank you very much, Mev, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for taking the work to help share our voices with the community. I know it makes a big difference. A little bit about me. I'm running because I believe in public schools, and I believe that North Kitsap can and should be a top choice for families when choosing where to send their kids to school. And I think I can make a meaningful difference in helping us get there. A few things about me. I'm a parent to 2 elementary kids. My investment in our schools is future focused. I care deeply about the future of our schools because my children are growing up in them. I have 5 years in organizational strategy work and another 15 years in public education, and I believe that I bring unique experience and a perspective that our school board needs. I'm a former middle school math teacher, and I know firsthand the challenges that our teachers face. I'm also a former state education agency leader, and because of that, I understand not only at the classroom level and the school level, but I understand how our district connects with the state and lawmakers. I also have a doctorate in education policy and leadership. I have studied and trained for this work, and I'm a military spouse who's lived around the world. I'm not originally from Paulsbo, but this is now our home for good, and I'm really excited to invest in our community in this way. On a more personal note, I love endurance sports. You'll see me on the half marathon course in Paulsbo in a couple weeks. I love to read. I typically read about 100 books a year across many genres, and I really love coffee. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, Leighton. Now for our first question. The role of a public school district board of directors is to govern by setting policies and making decisions that shape the education of students. What are some of the key responsibilities of a school director that support successful governance of a public school system?
As a school board director, my role will be to work with other board members to set the strategic vision and policies that guide the district while leaving the day-to-day operations to our superintendent and staff and teachers. Some of the most important responsibilities for the board include setting a clear strategic direction that reflects the values of our community, hiring, supporting, and evaluating the superintendent to ensure that we have strong leadership, and making sure that our budget is aligned with student outcomes, that we've managed it responsibly, and that we have mechanisms in place to hold the district accountable to its goals. It's also critical that decisions are transparent and made through open processes so that families and community members feel informed and can trust the system. For me, good governance means putting students at the center of every decision we make, and that the board is serving as a bridge between the schools and the community. That means listening, asking questions, and being accessible. If elected, I plan to hold monthly office hours and will encourage my fellow board members to join me in establishing more open channels of communication. When the board fulfills these responsibilities well, I think it empowers our educators and our staff to focus on delivering the best possible education to students. And we as a district can be a district that families are proud to choose. Thank you.
All right, thank you. On to question 2. A district's annual budget shows the board's commitment toward fulfilling the goals of the instructional program and providing for the efficient and effective operation of the district. Regarding the district's budget process, what strategies do you suggest to address any deficits faced in the future, especially related to declines in student enrollment or loss of federal funding?
Thank you. The budget is one of the strongest tools that the board has to live out its priorities. As a director, I would focus on long-term financial planning, using our enrollment and revenue forecasts to anticipate the challenges before they turn into crises. We can't just respond year to year. We have to have long-term financial planning. Some of the strategies that I would emphasize include looking for efficiencies, pursuing alternative revenue streams through grants and partnerships, and advocating actively at the state level for the fair funding that we need. It also means engaging the community in conversations about levies and bonds and being transparent about our needs and rebuilding trust so that people feel confident in investing in our schools. At the same time, we can't ignore the fact that declining enrollment impacts our fundings, and we need to address this head on. Beyond demographic trends, families are choosing other districts or online programs, and we need to understand why. Last year alone, 577 students transferred out of North Kitsap, and that represents about 10% of our total student body. If students are leaving because they're looking for opportunities that we don't currently provide, then part of our responsibility is to address those gaps and create the kinds of programs that will keep families here. Even when resources are tight, our goal should be to make thoughtful, student-centered decisions and do everything we can to keep resources flowing in so that our kids have the opportunities that they deserve.
All right, thank you. On to question 3. The National Education Association has stated its support for school libraries, and in recent years, many books have become controversial. How do school boards navigate the concerns of parents, teachers, librarians, and students regarding sensitive content?
I think when concerns about books or other materials come up, the board's role is to make sure that decisions are guided by clear policies and that the process is transparent and fair. Our teachers and librarians already follow professional standards when selecting materials, and when concerns arise, there's a formal process in place to review those concerns. It's very important that parents and students and community members know how to be a part of that process and that we listen to all perspectives. Ultimately, I think our responsibility is to balance educational standards with community trust and to make decisions that support students' learning and development. And I think the best way to navigate these situations is to stick to consistent policies, ensures that everybody understands them, and keep the focus on what serves students.
Okay, thank you. On to question 4. Local levy and bond funding are indispensable for North Kitsap School District and other districts across the state. Levies provide critical resources for day-to-day operations and enrich the educational experience, while bonds are crucial for building and maintaining school facilities. If elected to the board of directors, how would you engage with community members, provide transparent information regarding these initiatives, and foster trust that is essential to the successful outcome of a levy and/or bond election?
I think levies and bonds really do just come down to trust. People need to know exactly where their money is going and how it benefits students. If elected, I'd focus on clear, accessible communication about what's being proposed, be very clear about how funds will be used and how the district will be held accountable going forward. I think engagement has to start very early. This means hosting forums and focus groups across North Kitsap, and then creating other open channels like regular office hours, so people can provide input and ask questions and share concerns. And just as important as explaining is the listening. We need to show the community that their priorities are reflected in any final proposal. I think it's also important that we be thinking long-term. We can't just patch facilities levy to levy. We need a clear, forward-looking facilities plan that anticipates our growth, aging buildings, and changing program needs. When the community sees that we're not only solving today's problems, but planning wisely for the future, I think it will build confidence that their investment is being used responsibly. To me, I don't think that this is about the district selling an idea. It's about building a partnership between the district and the community. And when we as the district are transparent, accountable, and responsive, people feel heard. And that's how we will earn the trust we need to pass levies and bonds.
All right, thank you. And now our final question. What strategies would you employ to foster a positive and inclusive school climate where diversity is celebrated and all students feel safe and respected?
Yep. So a positive school climate means that every student feels safe and respected and like they belong. As a board member, I can focus on policies that support inclusivity and strong anti-bullying measures, and then make sure that these policies are consistently applied. I would support professional development in areas like cultural sensitivity, social emotional learning, and other inclusive practices, so staff are equipped to meet the needs of all of our students. I think celebrating diversity is also important through curriculum, events, and activities that reflect the many cultures and perspectives in our schools. And I think that means not only hosting events ourselves, but showing up to events that our community hosts. There are other simple things we can do, such as flying the flags of our tribes, making materials available in Spanish on both our website and in print to help our families feel more connected. And I would also want to make sure that students and families have a real voice in shaping our school culture, and that we are listening and acting upon what is shared.
Great, thank you. Thank you to Leighton Thomas for running for office and for sharing your views. I'm Mev Hoberg. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap, thanks for watching, and please share this video. If you want to help the League do this work, consider joining us at LWV.org. And don't forget to return your ballot by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 4th.
Thank you, Mev.